Hey, how about now? There we go. Alright, how's everybody doing? I think I was trying to use my Apple headphones as a mic, which it didn't like. It's not legal in Texas, so I'm sure I don't know what you mean. Oh, I'm running my own OBS, so I don't have Chris's, Atos's, what do you call them? Raffle bots. But, next time we meet, at his house or for whatever. Though I don't think, there's any more shipping parties to be done. We're down to not just a few and hunting down really obscure addresses and such, but a taming stream? I don't think I know enough about taming to stream on it, nor do I work on anything involving taming other than, like, I'll throw in some spawners and some zones when we get, what do you call it, new tameable creatures. Let's see, I was looking for a deco in my dungeon here. Oh, none of the devs do. B does. Beezus. Beezus is the man. And Atos. Oh, nice. Necronut's learning some PvP. Do I know if pots will support spawners when they come out? I'm not 100% sure on that. Chris had a couple of meetings, not with our team, but other people. I think he was meeting with engine people, Unity people. I don't know if that's public knowledge, it is now. But he was busy, and then he's got Maxine, so he asked if somebody else could do it. Releasing basements with the marble textures for people who don't need mobs and want the pretties without the hassle of dungeon design. Yeah, just get a dungeon entrance. You can just get the foyer and then not add any rooms to it. Like, I don't have any spawns in my dungeon. I'm probably never going to use it for like a farming monsters dungeon. It's just kind of underground, crazy bunker palace. Atos is trying to avoid the big news he promised. Well, I'm not sure what he would be saying, so I'm not going to speak for him. Yes, I have a small list. I know at least of a couple rooms that need more wall and floor deco services, so I was working on this. I forgot what I was doing. I was just trying to get some stuff out of a chest down here. I do have a list. Which I tried to chip away at every release. I also know that you guys need the cave transition piece recipe on a vendor so everyone could learn it. Make more. Hey, Bonger. Yeah, it's my basement. Oh, someone's asking about spawners in pots. I actually just saw the first one working that I didn't know Chris even had working. I guess he gave one away on his stream, and someone put it on their lot. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Crossroads, and the liches were tagging people like 20, 30 meters away. So I'm not sure what the what we're going to cite as the end design and what we're going to allow people to you know, we'd love eventually to have NPCs that have like scriptable conversations and stuff, but I don't know about. Oh, it was Airy. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Newbie Town, even worse. Um, so I don't know the status on mobs that can kill other players in POTs. And Airy's a NPC town, not even a POT. So I respectfully added myself to the lot and picked them all up and put them in a bag and just left them on their lot. I think it was Hex. Hex, are you online? I should double check that Hex got my message and he doesn't think they disappeared. I don't see him online. I wrote him an in-game mail. Oh, it looks like he's online. He's just on my friends list. Oh, the status on my dungeon. It's coming along. I don't know. I could fire up the editor too if you guys want to see that. Here, let's do that. Yeah, and Bedouin, that would be up to the governor really to enforce that. We can't run around enforcing people's spawning where they play it. But in a pot, it's like, yeah, the governor owns it. You know, they can make the whole town PvP if they want. So if they want to make it have PvE danger, I have no problem with it. I'm not sure what our official decision is on it, but I do love the idea of outdoor spawners and stuff, especially with places like, you know, some pots I really like are like secluded and have a cluster of buildings and a bunch of woods. So it'd be great if there's stuff out in the woods. You know, some deer spawners and some bears and wolves and whatever walking around out there. Alright, it'll take a minute for the editor to pop up. Let's see. And you know, whatever restrictions we have for putting monsters in dungeons that you guys can just farm and kill, you know, would be the same for pots for balance. Pots on the coast ever get salt water? They're a template, and so this template is the same for coastal and island. Stanley and I are still debating on the best way to do that. Because yeah, I know some people have saltwater island bays and they go fish in the water and it's fresh water, which I can understand why they wouldn't want that. So we're trying to think of a way to do it, because really the pot loads a template that many other pots, potentially hundreds, draw from, and then it loads your customized building placement, but the actual terrain and the trees and everything else is coming from one map, rather than having that many separate in-game maps to manage. But maybe potentially like a migration or something to saltwater versus fresh, and you just tell us, you know, hey, we want fresh, hey, we want salt. Oh, okay, Killjoy, I was behind on mail. I think I read it and then I wrote it down and I spaced it out, so that's good. The coastal template shows it's seacoast. Yeah, it could be. I mean, we could do a vote. It seems like people would more rather have salt than fresh. There's only a couple exceptions with like bays and lakes, so. Oh, okay, yeah, Hex wasn't aware that they were running around, so no worries, dude. I don't know if he's in the stream or not. Yeah, I know. I've seen like Elgarians turn Kali into like that. What do you call it? The treasure hunt with all the chests, and he leaves notes and stuff around. And he kind of tried to make falling hazards and little pits you can't get out of, but to be able to reinforce it with your own monsters and stuff, I think would be great. Or just be a hermit out in the woods surrounded by bears would be cool. So some of you may have seen the latest. I'll just fire my dungeon up. I'm probably not going to stream too late. I got a lot of stuff to do. And my kiddo just got back from camp and I haven't seen him in a little bit, so Let's see, what have I done since the last time probably most people saw? Just hop in and play it. Alright, the audio is going to be super loud in the editor because it doesn't save the editor levels. No raffle today. I need to get the, what do you call it? The chat bots and the raffle bots for that. We could do trivia, and I can give away items in the game if you guys want to do some in-game trivia or something. I'll have to think up some trivia. Alright, for a new mannequin of your choice, any mannequin on the store, what does Atos' name mean? Am I dropping frames or did it freeze up? Yeah, it's just soda backwards. Alright, who got it first? On my chat I see Dart and Obscuro got it backwards. Alright, let me write that down. So send me an in-game mail with the description of the mannequin that you want. How about that? We'll do trivia that way. I hit play. Are we playing? There we go. I do not know about the bridge room dropping. Did Chris make that a dungeon room? That's cool. I didn't even know he was working on that, so don't know the status of that. And a dragon room. That sounds like something I'd like to create as a big dragon cave. I don't have an ETA for it, but it is on our list. I have a few dungeon room types. I do want to do the big, you know, you're walking in an aquarium tube and it's all glass and you're, you know, surrounded by coral and fish and stuff. It's like a big hallway type, and maybe have the floor open up so you can put down some couches and hang out in there. There's the Gothic set, which I put on hold to make this new dungeon, so that's also in the works. If you guys have seen anybody with the Duke throne room, I was making a hallway set kind of in that style. I think I got like the straight done and like the T but not the X and a couple more. Need a transition one also. So you guys have seen most of this. Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm trying to run 2 clients on best settings. Let's not do that. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there we go. So I'm crossing my fingers, knock on wood, hopefully getting some new baddies from the guys who are able to create new creatures for this area. Kind of evil frozen cave part of the dungeon. Like I said, I was doing it all in wings, so something big and mean to be announced. I know what I want, so it lives in here. It'll be in an encounter room. And of course there'll be patrols and stuff through all these halls. And then, what else? I wish Unity had the concept of box lights, or you could fiddle with the fallout for point lights, but that's why some of the dungeons you see, like, you know, the sphere, what do you call it, effective radius for spheres, or just kind of globes, and you see them repeat, because you can't really fiddle with that in Unity lighting, which is kind of weird, because I remember having that in like the late 90s and other editors, but maybe someday or with a plugin. I worked more on this. So this is just a giant cave room. I did make it so if you fall down in the water, there's vines and stuff, you can get back up. Found a couple stuck spots already and fixed them. If you get squirrely and go down here in the water. Oh, I do need to make a note to myself that I put this fog. The waves are too high in the water in here, so I'll probably take out the ocean soda and just put in a static plane, like a material on it. It's a lot cheaper, so it'll run faster. So this is a nasty spider encounter. I think I'll do one of the new ones and make it tameable, just so you guys have another location. One of the new tameable ones, so. Yeah, I don't know, guys and gals, ladies, messing with the slew command. You'll notice if a scene has ocean, you pay for that infinitely at runtime. So if I just have a couple ponds in that pool in the back room, then there's no reason for it to be that big. But so far so good on the frame rate. Hoping to get a lot of mobs in here. Oh right, the new way to get back is over here. I'm trying to keep it the green, creepy, spooky green feel, as like, you know, as Lost Vale is to is purple. This is kind of eerie green. Still some issues with like the distance at which lights decide they're going to cast their shadows, but Chris has a way in an override he's getting me, so that'll be coming. Because I don't like how, yeah, it's just not casting shadows right now. I think and once more players are in here with their player lights and they're casting spells and stuff, that's going to add more dynamic shadow casters, so that will make it even harder. Am I on best? It's just really not. Oh, maybe that's why. No, it will not be PvP only. This is a PvE dungeon. I want it to be the new endgame content, very hard. We spent a lot of work on new user experience, which was greatly needed. Updating those maps and give them some love, and we realized, you know, people at the end of the game, they need some new content too, so this will be very high level endgame content PvE. If you want to flag yourself, that's up to you, you know, just like any other adventure zone. I like the fall. I think the fall's pretty cool. You just go check it out one day without anything on you to lose. Alright. I don't know why. Something's up with my lighting in this room. Maybe I duped a big light and I saved it. But that just looks unlit and bad. Well, anyways, it doesn't look like that. It's darker, it's spookier. And I'm just running through this with no fight, so, you know, imagine any other dungeon with absolutely no mobs, you can run through it pretty quick, so. This is a teleporter. I haven't hooked up yet, so. I do that for a couple of reasons. One, just because it's fun and magic and spooky, and another is we can set the camera clip distance, so if we teleport you very far away, we can have, you know, a bunch of monsters in the next area that everybody's not paying for because it's so far away. So this is just kind of the theme, the art theme I was going for. Man, I'm really not getting any of my lights to show up today. There should be a big spotlight there. So lots of rooms like this, spooky and green. big open areas. You know, I want to get some big creatures in here. At least one dungeon encounter. You might not be ready for it. Well, go train up. You can always come with someone. Will any devs be at DragonCon? I don't know. I can't. I'm gonna be doing school stuff. My son's about to start school again. But I don't have a head count on who's going where. Yeah, I know every time I make a PvP map, people are sad, so. We're going to do a few PvE maps before I think we do another PvP map, but new PvP functionality would be great. There's an outstanding task for like a PvP queue that's been on the programs for a while. Oh, and we realized that I found out the reason why the vendor in the Obsidian Trial doesn't work anymore. He was kind of modeled after a in-game crown shop vendor because he uses tokens. So when we took all those out of the game, of course, that included him. So I think that was just a sad casualty of that migration to the shop, which I think is way better just having that UI shop than finding a physical person. But he was a casualty of that, so he'll get fixed once we figure out a new UI for him. So. But that's what all I'm prepared to show you on that. There's more windy unlit. I can show you what it looks like show you on my machine, the famous, that's kind of a famous dev quotes. Well, it works on my machine. Everybody says that many times. And there's many reasons why it looks different, versus in play, or you didn't check all your files in, or... So yeah, this is what this should look like, with everything casting nice shadows, and bats, fogs. So if everything's working correctly, it should look more like this and less like the lighting that you saw in the game. You have to select these though there's a button to like turn on all the effects, but it doesn't really work. You have to select them all to get them to start. But still work in progress. I like how it's coming so far. I do want to steal that mechanic from the fall though with the little rooms. I don't know if people are aware. Here, I'm still in the client. Let's go there. Alright, I'm in God mode. And I'm going to the fall, so if y'all try to jump me and I don't die and I'm God mode, don't write it up, don't be mad. Just looking at something so I can show you guys. Tell me the tiers over... No, my goal is it's going to be the new hardest zone in the game. That's my goal. So, the size of the dungeon. I think people asked before, and I've described it as... I'm going to do it in wings. Atos' Dungeon Tartarus, he adds levels. I'm doing mine in just, north, south, east, west, and so there's still verticality. So the portion that's going to be playable for this release, when we get out there, is going to be smaller than the Rise, but then as it grows, eventually I'll just add more wings and more rooms and more entrances. And I'm lost in my own map. As we needed the fall to connect to more underground stuff, other world builders came in and added like more rooms and stuff like that. So I'm not... some parts of it I didn't make, and I remember from when I made it, but I ran around enough and died enough that... So if you guys don't know, this is in the fall. There's a meat fire going on in the yard now. Oh, nice. You're grilling. Oh, that sounds good. I'm kind of hungry. I'm waiting for my son to get hungry and I'll probably just make tacos. Yeah, way over... I don't know what the technical tier skulls will be, but it's going to be hard. New homes will be in. I'm not sure on the status of new homes. Oh, not the room I wanted. So I want to take this, I'm showing you this because I want to take the, these buff rooms. These are like these magical rooms. Have you guys never been to the fall? You know, it's similar to the Rise. You know, it's got bridges and stuff. But you come in these little rooms and they give you huge attenuation buffs that last, you know, not very long. So like this one's life, so it should give me 100 life attunement. You know, but when you leave the zone, you don't keep it, so. They don't last long enough? Yeah, they're about 2 minutes. Ideally, eventually, the way we really want it to be is only one person in the zone can have it, so it's kind of like, you know, keep away, or, you know, you have to go find who has it and kills it and take him down. Not King of the Hill, I don't know what you'd call that. Which one is this? Magic Resist, 100, a couple minutes. I thought we had him at, we talked about making him 5 minutes. We can jump him up to 5. But there is also like high-end content in here. You know, there's lich, you know, you can run around and kill all kinds of liches on the lich circuit, and dragons. So we didn't want to be like, here's the place you can come. It's only a PvP map to where you can kill stuff that you otherwise couldn't kill. This is sun attunement, or fire. That's really the image for sun, but I don't do a lot of fire or sun. I do sun if I'm doing PvE versus undead. I think there's one more squirreled away somewhere, but you get the idea. So I wanted to take those. Savvy PvPers, PvEer kill count zone with the moving platforms. I remember when it first came out, we all had cheese decks with a lot of gust and like push and pull. And we weren't even getting the credit for the kills. It was just funny to gust people off the ledges until they fought. The worst was if you get mesmerized and then gust it off and fall to your death. So I haven't seen people do that in a while, but every now and then. Oh, I can show you that we made a lot of progress on this, so I'm probably going to stream here for a little bit longer, but... Oh, should we do another... I gotta think of another trivia question, that's the problem with... PvP shit optional? Yeah, it is optional, but I understand if like the new fun zone is PvP, then it feels like it's not optional. It just feels like you can't do it. But... Gusting never gets old. There is that dual room at the bottom that Gust is really good. And Confusion. Let's see. So this works best if you're small. So fairy belts and potions. So you guys didn't know, we covered it on the Deco stream, I think on Friday, but we made a lot more progress. It's kind of like a Game of Life or Chutes and Ladders or Candyland. A lot more like Candyland, I guess. And then if we can prove this out and make it good, then, you know, you can make, I don't know if you guys played the board game Talisman, or, you know, more like Monopoly, where there's more choices and freedom. For right now, it's just like a Talisman. So I'm sorry, it's just like a Candyland. So you just do like a roll 6, and then move that many spaces. 1, 2, and then any space that you land on. And it's meant to be played with a party, so it's kind of like send people back to the beginning. And so it's just kind of fun, silly Deco in-game quest stuff. Get a party of people, you know, drinking some wine on the weekend. Where'd I come up with my name? Well, I like the composer Franz Liszt. I know there's a Z in his name, L-I-S-Z-T. And then the last name is just from Tolstoy. I like that family, Natasha and I think it's Rostovo. Rostovs. So, composer and a book. Oh, I think we took out all the decorations for the nasty spider square. Oh, the preface for this is which hasn't changed, is the poor Onion Men, their king has been captured. So the mayor of Onion Town has come with all his Onion Knights, and he needs your help because the Tomato Men have captured him. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get to the end and rescue him. Yeah, it's not gonna be PvP only. Don't worry. This is the potato witch. She needs a light in there. Oh, I had put my Lost Veil orb in there. That's why. Let's see. Ball. Yeah, I had that in there. Hope it's not in the lot. Oh, I'm too big. My collision's still as big as a real player. There we go. Make it small. Oh, that's a cool idea. Demeron's asked me in-game if somebody would get kickable crates and barrels, kind of like they're in their wild, for dungeons, kind of move along player quests and dungeons. I like the idea. I don't know if there's a technical reason why we can't. So here's some tomato men. If you land here, then you gotta roll, and then whatever you roll, that's what you do. So it's meant to like get a group of your friends. This is this mystical forest springs. You have to take off all your equipment and sit in the hot tub naked and lose a turn if you don't roll. But you guys get the idea. But I thought it'd be a good Kickstarter for other people that are like, hey, go make your own in-game board games. You can just, you know, we have dice rolls, so you can roll 2d6 or roll a d10 or whatever you want. These are some peppermen, genies. So you can lose your turn there. This is a coconut town. I don't know what happens in Coconut Town yet. TBD. Marguerite had a plan for that. I still need to write it up. But anyways, we're not done, and there's no endgame. There's a little like oasis in the desert, depending on what you roll. So eventually you go through that tower, and then that's where the king's being held captive. Oh, it looks like there's so other people involved in this, and they've been helping, so it looks like they're working on a mountain. So that's cool. I haven't seen this either. And they did all this cool stuff with the trim and the hedges and stuff. Because originally I just had like a bunch of pavers in a row, and I put some decorations kind of around them. But I kind of love how they framed it so you stay on the pavers as you go. But yeah, I know people have been making Gusball mini golf courses. I think that's awesome. I think everybody plays enough marbles in the streams that, you know, some cool ideas for shapes of Gusball mini golf courses would be cool. I'd like to hope one day, like, if I get the bandwidth, you know, support that with some modular mini golf ramps. You know, you just set it down and get the Gusball up on it and try and hit off a bumper and whatever and make actual little holes. You know, somebody's going to have to go pick it up with permissions to move it, but... yeah, I'll probably go about 5 more minutes. Answer any more questions you guys have. Any more talk of redecorating Ardoris. First new city. Yeah, so Ardoris had severe performance issues with too many Diable Gusballs. I know there's a JIRA for. There has to be. Somebody mentioned it. What was this saying? Ardoris had way too many NPCs. And it wasn't really set up to cull anything, so you could just see everything everywhere. And we made a lot of improvement on performance there. So I think it might be time to go back and we really started gutting decorations, NPCs, to try to get to some kind of frame rate, because, you know, it needs to run first before it's pretty. You know, if it's beautiful and no one can enter it, they crash or they have 2 frames a second, nobody really cares. But it might be time to go touch it up. I actually wrote myself. I've been running through, you know, creating a new character and going through the first few scenes, and I have my own personal list of scenes I just want to go touch up. So I have my own list. I could add Ardoris to that, just give it a love pass. And then of course, as we get, you know, the stream through the love path, then we'll go do and give the equal amount of love to, you know, truth and courage also, so those scenes aren't left behind also. It's just a matter of working on this new dungeon, so maybe after that I can hit some of the newer ones again. Do the arrow and flame traps do damage in PvP towns? Be cool for a board game setup in one. Right now they don't. It's just cosmetic. But now we're adding, you know, we're adding monsters and stuff. Um, possibly. Possibly. If Elad will be getting any love, a combat or resource zone. Elad's Lighthouse? I know, that's one of my favorite looking scenes. You just think it's a little, it's sparse with surrounding zones to do. Probably not anytime soon, but I would never say not anytime. That isn't on my list of priorities, but I can look. The map needs to be updated too. I did not know that. Also, all the in-game maps are on me also, so, but we're looking at a faster, better way to do that. Long way to go for combat and resource. Okay, we could take a look at that. Here, I'll make a note, and Sanio goes and does all kinds of improvements to zones, regarding resources and stuff like that, so. Let's see, what do I call that? I'll just write it down. Elad area, more action resources nearby. How about that? That might be something that he could take on his plate too. Yeah, I agree. That Seawolf made that map, and I loved it. That's one of the first ones he made, and I just thought it was beautiful. Yeah, I'm lefty. New hairstyles will be added whenever we have the bandwidth to add them, but when we sit in meetings, we all unanimously agree in character creation we would love new hairstyles. We got the curly hair for the cowbell, which was a joke, the SNL skit, crazy curly hair, and that was the only new hair we got in a while, so yes, we want it. Don't know. I would not be the person making that, so if it's not my department, no way am I gonna give an ETA, because that's me signing people up for stuff. Move the keep and castle sea lots a bit further out to see they're blocking the harbor. If I touch Arteris, I will guarantee 100% not touch any lots or move them at all. That is kind of a rule that we stick to very strictly. That was one of the first rules that I learned when I joined the project, is don't move their lots. Don't touch their lots. People have already, moved in and they live there, so. An adventure zone on the island would be cool. Yeah, we could do that. Something like, I don't know if you've ever hung out on like Penmar Island. It's a decent island adventure. So yeah, I'm curious to see other people's in-game board games. I know somebody's working on a casino. Don't remember what town it was going in. Was the casino going into Crossroads? Nick or not would know, potentially. Somebody in here would know. Somebody's working on a casino, and I want to go check it out when they're done. For various reasons, I think we're pretty reluctant to make a casino on our end. Just all, potential backlash with gambling and stuff like that. So I'm not saying never, but Crossroads Alleys, Carrie says with a question mark, maybe. So cool. If anybody knows and it's done, I think it was just an early work in progress. So I know there's that going on. People are doing the mini game Gus Ball mini golf, and then we're trying to do some board games. So and we're still working on new tools. I know you guys want new tools for making your own adventures and quests. Lilybird just told me she finished a new one, which I'm excited for. I loved the last one. We put it on the stream. So I'm excited for a lot new and more in-depth in-game quests. I know Elgarian has a huge list of stuff to create his own content, and it all sounds great. If I sell music, could you please add the title to the songs in the sale as well? Oh, you mean in the receipt? Yeah, there's a JIR for that too. There needs to be a couple things for that. Also, it authors, the crafter should be the person who actually writes it to the ABC blank sheet music, and not the person who made the paper. That's also kind of silly. So those are existing tasks, both of those. So. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I need to feed this kid some tacos, which I haven't finished cooking. And it was a short stream. I was just kind of filling in for Chris. But he should be back in streaming tomorrow. And then I'll get from him eventually the bots to do my own raffles and things like that. Ways to tie stream giveaways into the game. If anyone has any ideas, get at me. I could do one more trivia giveaway before we go. Let's see. I know one. This might be spoilers if you guys haven't finished and gotten your shroud. I'm going to one of the later levels, but we have fishing contests and stuff here, so it's not like we've never shown it on the stream. So. Someone says I'm profiling Ardoris now. I'm gonna assume that's Atos because I didn't type that, so there you go. So, your trivia question, first one to answer, what are these the names of? You got a list of names. These are the names of what in the game, and you'll get a one mannequin of your choice. Oh, Oop got it first. Oop of the Veil, you're Alley Oop, right? Well, send me an in-game mail, and it'll be easier for me to respond and describe which one you want. So, there you go, that's a spoiler if you're on this quest, the Master Trainers. And that will help you with the puzzle that I have to keep open every time we do a fishing expedition up here. So yeah. If we get it wrong, it is that. We do it right. These appear. Oh, and I don't know if you guys want them, but I've been adding new VFX to the store. I added some butterflies this week. Just ambient little butterflies flying around. Not the big pets, but little ones. But if you guys want these little things, they could be decos. They're not super cheap, so they'd have to have some here. So I'm not getting Death Raid over and over again. Yeah, Moon has a little moon. Some little comets going by. This one broke with my pivots. It used to be, so I need to go look at that. They changed a lot of things in the particle editor, and I think I need to redo the life one because it used to like be kind of a fractal thing. So, will fog pods be getting a larger fill area? More flowers? Yes. Bats. There has to be particle bats. The bats we have in our levels are actually flocks, and we just did a culling of all. The flock system we have is super expensive, so we took out a bunch of birds. So. I don't see why we can do particle bats at some point. So yeah, particle spiders, yeah, particle flies, that's on my list. Particle larger fogs, different colors, that's definitely on the list here. I might have to load the Battle for Solus Bridge version, so that is Atos. Atos is in here. I'm reluctant to just add like a ground fire because that could get, you guys could black hole the server really quick with that, so we'll see. Oh, but we did recognize, Damon and I, that there aren't any good campfires or bonfires, so that's going in. These vultures, okay, cool, they all aren't here, so. Particle Bat sounds like a sequel to, yeah, it might be giants. So maybe for pot owners, because these are cheap. Blood for walls and ground. So I try to make a decal. So these are just cards when you get up on them, but so they're cheap. And I just made their behavior like they tilt a little and they wobble a little and then they go around. So for pot owners, if you want some vultures, we'll get you that eventually. Blood. So I had made an attempt. Actually this release to get decal blood on the ground. There's two issues. One, it doesn't, we can't actually mask it. There's a checkbox to like, hey, don't display on characters, but it's never actually done anything. I've always checked it just in case it happens to turn on someday. And two, as deco objects, I think it's the way they're placed, they're just dynamically placed and don't get baked into the scene that they weren't displaying when I played them down with decos. But I haven't given up yet, so we might look into other ways of pursuing blood splatters. I know you guys want to do like more creepy dungeon stuff, and you don't always want like pretty stuff. Craftable slime ooze decals. Yeah, we'll get you some more goo and blood and gore, and I think you all want some corpse mannequins so you can dress up some corpses for storytelling too. So all that stuff's on our list, on our radar too. So we could make them the same as the placeable sigils. As far as I know, those are just cards. So I'll have to look at that. It could just be a card. I like Diablo 2 looks. And sure, if that makes sense. Yeah, you're probably just talking about the aesthetic of the walls. Spiderwebs. You already have spiderwebs. Pretty sure. Yeah, you can get these webs. But we do have some other ones that are like, they fill up corners and stuff like that, so. Some scenes have fish spinning in a pond that could be a nice pot water deco. Right now we don't have the ability to place things under the water as a deco because there's no check to how deep is the water underneath it. But someday I would like that. Fish tanks and actually getting the koi fish back in the koi pond dungeon room is on my radar too, because that got fixed. It was, if you picked up the room, the koi would stay floating in space forever, which was not good. So, but that got fixed, so we can put it back. Diable light still on the list. I don't know the status of that. I like it. If you could change the brightness and the color of it, or just give you all more options too as far as light color choices. But I need to get back to cooking. Thank you guys. I'll stream again. Probably I'm gonna do my later night streams and just stream working on my dungeon, and I'll answer more questions there if I didn't get to it. And then, of course, anything you guys did with the exclamation mark question, I think gets picked up even though I'm streaming and goes to the database. More stuff placeable on water platforms. Lights and furniture. Yeah, we should look at that. I know some of them here. Like, it's just a weird line of what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. And I'll show you I think the best example. But I noticed, yeah, like instruments can't go on the water platforms, but some furniture can and some furniture can't. Some torches can and some torches can't. So like the bar and all this stuff and well, there was a piano. Like some stuff can go on this platform, which is the lot platform. If you guys haven't been to a fishing expedition, this is actually, we set up as a pot and there's only one lot, and I forget who owned it, but I'm on it as an owner. So yeah, some of the stuff you can place down on the these platforms, and stuff you can't. You have to put it up here, so we'll have to revisit why and the rules for that if there really is a reason, or we can just go check all those boxes. So yeah, I wanted Shogun Lightstring is the obvious choice, right, to put out a water platform and have like a little party deck down by the river, party boat, party barge. So yeah, I need to look at that. Here, let me write that down too. Let's see. Water platform deco restrictions. Well, cool. I will see you guys later, in game, or if I stream later this week, some dungeon building. My kids, I'm sorry, probably won't have my camera on late at night because he's probably trying to stream. Yeah, we'll see you around. And then the two people that won, Alley-Oop won, and then, was it Demeron? I don't remember the first winner for the trivia. Yeah, just send me an in-game mail, and I'll respond to that for your prizes for the trivia. Yeah, thanks everybody. Alright, who should we... I rated Zach last time. Here, let's just do a random roll. Let's see, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna roll a 5-sided dice. I don't know what that looks like. Skeggy. We're raiding you, Skeggy. You're the winner. Have a good one, all. Go give Skeggy a follow if you haven't already. Thank you guys. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for the bits and the people who did that at the beginning. My mic wasn't turned on, so you probably couldn't hear me saying thanks. But thank you, appreciate it.
What was it, 64?